Alrighty, I'll just sort out the usual stuff and I'll be right with everyone. Alrighty. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. Mine's going okay. Enjoying the jacket, if nothing else. I've started sculpting the ears, but they're over in my kitchen, so let's just get this game going because I need to get to bed by 9. All my settings should have carried over from Monday. There we go. Okay, we are set. So to reiterate a bit, basically the guy who was from the very start of the chapter who was causing trouble is back as a witness because we think he might be the actual murderer.
17th of April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber.
Oh yeah, and as a twist, apparently he's one of the jurors' colleagues because I just guess they just can't stop finding jurors that are somehow involved in the case, and that's apparently not an issue. Gina, how are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now. Okay, I just realised her pose is literally giving the, giving Rhinosuke the cold shoulder. You know, because she's actually pointing her shoulder at him. I believe the origin of the cold shoulder was actually from the tradition of giving a cold shoulder joint of meat to an unwanted guest to subtly hint that they're outstaking their welcome. Ginny, you alright? Why aren't you saying anything? Ellipsy's nuts. What's the point, eh? Why go to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me? What? Oh, you saw it? That picture?
What picture?
Yeah, you're gonna have to narrow it down. Oh, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder? Iris doing the, patented mayor. Cheek puff. Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they?
Well, I wouldn't pretend it like it's a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court.
Hey, Nillis, how's it going? The sun's shining here. Or will be for like an hour or so. It's probably about to go down. Surely you got out of your doubts about me now? You can't still think I'm innocent. Of course I can. Ginny, why don't you just talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. Hey? Reno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, I'd really like to hear it from you. Alright then. It was after we had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we had a chat up in your office, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember.
Notice nothing much new. Had a banger idea for a D&D monster though. Ooh. Want to share, or is it secrets? After that, I couldn't get to sleep, so I slipped up and went out down the street to the 2-to-1 to Winterbank's place. I had to know if Iris' story was there or not. The hand of the Baskervilles. So I know Balgura's the orange ape demon. Yes, I do. I don't know what it's about or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something in that the shrubs don't like. Something what you don't want people reading. So that's why you lied to Iris about sticking it in lug with Winterbank for safekeeping. At least that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Winterbank's. I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all of that was going to kick off, did I? I struck the lock and stuck inside. As dark as you like in there. You gonna paint it blue, give it a shark's head and boom? Gulgura. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's going to Blaha into a room. No, that doesn't really work, does it? Blahaj? Blahajin? Yeah, punch can be workshopped. So I gave the old lamp on the counter a bit of wick, and that's when...
What do you think you're doing? Ugh.
I nearly died, I did. Next thing I knew... I'd grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like, I don't know what. Okay, that was very bad timing, I guess.
Oh, you're the girl who was there hidden here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery.
The mantle script. Have you got it here? Did Sherms leave a load of papers with you? A story?
I beg your pardon?
The Hound of the something or other. If it's here, I want to see it.
I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers.
I don't want it. What would I want to do with it anyway? I just want to see it's here, that's all.
Oh, you want to see it, do you?
I don't know if Shroom's really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go.
Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you?
So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there, alright. The mantle script. Shrimps weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Ginny? Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick up in the main bit of the shop. The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yeah? What was that noise? Someone breaking in? Nillis? Gorgo being the popular shark girl VTuber. Also, you love that they have disguised self and invisibility, even they're large creatures within 7. Gonna have it disguise itself as a normal horse. In Helter, also it'll be an odd sight. Walk around a corner, then wait to bite someone's head off. Amazing.
Dear me. Is there some burglars convention here tonight I don't know about?
I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry.
I'd better go and take care of it. Can I possibly have my gun back?
Oh, well, I'll come with you, Ren.
Now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances.
And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back out in the shop. I hung back in the storeroom like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help, see? So I was just about to go out to the storeroom myself, when... I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then... there he was, right at my feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it, as quick as you like.
Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Winterbank might come for you.
Yeah, so I went to grab the old cove's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Winterbank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kinda dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. Suspects in murder mysteries don't pick up the weapon. Challenge. Impossible, apparently. That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive.
Did you tell the police everything you just told us?
Of course I did, but they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me. You'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Renee's about to put the real culprit through the mill. That cove, what was there in the afternoon? That Egbert Benedict. Okay, so she did see him. I still remember how he looked at me, like I was nothing. He was there that night. Okay, so she did see him. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced he's involved somehow. I mean, he literally got shot. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all in Runo's capable hands now, Ginny. Mr. Naruto?
Yeah?
How come you trust me? I don't get it. It's literally his job to. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGill did. We told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the bog trotter off with him, even though he was a killer.
No, I could never forget that. I did what I thought was best at the time, but the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side at the bitter end, no matter what.
But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know.
I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial.
You were?
Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. As strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who'd done it.
Oh yeah. Like it was literally basically the same thing, wasn't it? Because he picks up the gun. Like, seriously, why do people keep doing that? Oh, Rune?
But if there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me, my best friend.
Rhinosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Oh, wrong button. Leave this to me. All you have to do is put your faith in me and I'll do the rest.
I was so happy I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. Believe in me who believes in you, so you can believe in me.
Hey, Max Sting.
As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute unwavering belief in me, and absolutely no idea what he was doing. That's when I started learning law.
To be fair, that's pretty close. It's more like he basically had his friend as an assistant while he was defending himself in court because of the circumstances. And that's sort of how he ended up becoming a lawyer. Yeah. Parallels with Phoenix Wright, of course, because basically became an attorney because of his best friend, although in very different circumstances. What are you saying?
I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. No empire of dirt for you.
Even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar?
Well, the fact you're no good at lying makes you more trustworthy. You look like McGill did. I know that.
Hey? That's right. You're our friend, Ginny.
What? Iris?
Notice Gurren Lagann is pretty good for a typical anime with typical anime problems. Yeah. Although, I wouldn't mind, you know, low-key transition goals. Being an anime girl with a gun as long as I'm tall. Just saying. Iris?
We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust.
Max Sting, you've heard it's actually good with serious problems? Yeah, basically. Yep.
And that's all we really need to know.
Exactly. And, you know, sort of like the second half goes a bit off the rails. Mr. Odo, she's got something in her eye. Terrible day for rain and all that.
Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately.
Max Sting, you heard the way it goes off the rails is untouchably, matchlessly bonkers. Well, yeah, it's pretty, the most from the start anyway, but like, I think it's basically a lot of, you know, plot points people didn't like. No less, also a bit misogynistic, a bit homophobic, but yeah, extremely stylish. It's actually quite and it's quite fun in the way it goes off the rails. Max Sting, you're thinking more of the physical scale. Huh? Oh yeah, it does reach the end. Spoilers for a decades-old anime, where the final battle involves throwing universes as shurikens. Oh, sorry, not universes, galaxies. Yes, of course. Thank you. I'd been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. And this is it at last, the final chapter, the final battle. No less, slight bit of a spoiler for Voltron, but it goes a bit Gurren Lagann at the way at the end, and you're laughing your arse off. Gurren Lagann started a grand shonen tradition of animating things people are living on and entering them in slap fights. Yeah, and I know Voltron. Assuming you're talking about the Netflix Voltron, or whatever it was, Voltron, the more recent one, definitely sort of went off, you know, like it had an interesting, openly queer character, but yeah. Wish me luck, Susato-san. I hope you're watching over me too, partner. Was the screen just flashing for anyone else, or was that just me?
17th of April, 1:41 PM, the Old Bailey courtroom.
Max Sting, you really need to finish watching Go Lion. Yeah, basically, obviously Go Lion was recut into Voltron in the West, but they also made basically a modern adaptation of Voltron. Yeah, Netflix did, as Nola said.
I hereby call this court to order as we resume the I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Dykes, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness? The subpoena was delivered to the communications station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
Max Sting, Go Lion was the old anime show. You wanted to like the Netflix show, but you resigned to simply wanting to abscond with Pidge and put them in a better show. Oh yeah, Pidge was great in that.
I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's precis of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector. Yeah, I can only apologise, my lord. And although the defence's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to cross Helly and me. A very big mistake, she says while toting a gun.
My lord, the subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building. Thank you, officer. Show him into the stand without delay.
Mr. Eggert Benedict, I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon, and certainly not like this. Nolas, that's what you were thinking about ages ago. There he is. At the end of the Evil Guild of Icons campaign, when we were punching things with fists made of swarms of dragons. Yeah, that really went off the rails. Nick was clearly having fun with it, though.
Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir.
But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige. Wow, indeed, Maxting. Wow, indeed.
Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communications Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about.
You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume. Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question.
Okay, we need to prove he has a bullet wound. And metal detectors haven't been invented yet.
That is the accusation indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know. Very well, without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath.
Oh yeah, you're going to love this guy's animations, by the way.
Gladly, my lord. Gladly.
Like he just does a synchronized dance every time.
Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation, even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detectives' homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence.
Yeah, I agree with Nicholas, in my unbiased opinion. Nick's evil campaign, it's like only I think it was 8 episodes long. And it's well worth watching as like a self-contained thing. Maxting, Scaramouche, is he going to do the Fandango? Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening.
So, you deny the accusation completely, do you? I must say I'm dismayed, for the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands the jury's will is upheld. Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today.
Okay, your co-worker's on that jury.
By golly! How long am I expected to be detained here? If, following the defence's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, you'll be free to leave immediately.
Maxting, Graydon is not making good friends in the jury. He is not. I guess you could say he's a bit of an ashhole.
Good. Then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation at least.
Dennis, I'm just a poor boy. Nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family. Lives in a pineapple under the sea. That would be a great mashup. Someone who can sing, get on it, please.
That is not hold up, Mr. Graydon, any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination.
Nullis, here is one. Please link.
So we meet again, Mr. Eggert Benedict. If that is your real name, Ashley Graydon. Or is it Mr. Graydon?
Nullis, you should make it your ringtone.
My apologies. You are? Ryan Oskay, Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We've met. If you say so. Ashley Graydon, enchanté. So. I trust we can conclude this quickly. But I'm not holding your flashy hand while we do.
Okay, the accusation.
Naturally, I have occasion.
Okay, we've already read this, haven't we? Let's press.
Hold it!
Yeah, he seems to think he's odd job, no less.
Yeah, we've even met in the very pawnbrokery where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time. It was Mr. Eggert Benedict, I believe. Tell me, what made you... The witness is here to testify about events that took place that night. He is under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions. You can't be serious. Thank you, because I certainly don't feel inclined to answer such an inappropriate question. So he's going to be evasive, is he? In an effort not to give anything away. This could be tricksy. Hold it! Have you seen these two men before? This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals. Said by a man who introduced himself as Eggert Benedict. I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in the black. This is a farce. Whose idea was it to miss an outsider to work in a British court anyway?
Oh no, he's so angry he's going to challenge us to a dance-off.
Well, needless to say... Hold it! Where were you? It was around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir. That is past the hour at which I'd normally retire. Certainly. I was not in the company of these rapscallions. You're able to prove that?
Objection!
Listen carefully, my learned Nipponese friends, for you appear to be under a gross misapprehension on this point. What do you mean? The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence, if your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene. The obligation lies with you to prove your assertion. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness. A silent victory, Wiggle. Thanks.
Like a pigman.
Hold it!
Which it was.
Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholmes' chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such.
But I'm not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants.
Every individual's blood is a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholmes' chemical is able to differentiate...
Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Sholmes character, anyway?
Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective. So, even you are unable to bring yourself to say, great detective. A great detective, you say? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, aren't we?
Okay, let's see what we've got here.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin? Hey, what? Me? No, the Mr. Skulkin next to you. Right, I've had it up here with this. How many times I got to tell you?
Okay, I like that one.
Yes, I know, you're not Big Brother Skulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin. Call blimey, Governor. You what? Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Wait, no mate, thoughts never go through my mind. Would you care to share that thought with the court? Hey, my thoughts? I don't have none of them.
Okay, yep, that's actually what he said. Well played game, well played.
You must be him. You what? Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? Nothing, honest Guff, nothing. I was just thinking. If he waves his arm around like that much more, he'll open up the wound again, that's all. What wound?
Gotcha.
Where he took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. He ain't gotta be healed up yet. Sorry, ain't gotta be healed up yet. Don't know where the H come from. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for him and... Oh, well, spells. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that?
What?
Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm. My lord. Yes, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Perhaps you'd allow the court official to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand, as if in pain. Or as the French call it, bread. No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I'm not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. Guess he's armed with the law. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offence at the insinuation that was in any way involved. You claim to have had nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery. My lord, the defence would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony. Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
Okay, now we've got him. Max Ding, is there a photo of him or was he always off camera? No, he was, yeah, I think he was... Well, that's a good point, actually. This should have been, a photograph of him from the, afternoon, shouldn't there? But anyway, we've got plenty of ways to prove he was present. Okay. Mr. Wonderbank appears to have used the back of this photograph to write out a redemption ticket. He's written it very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper, so had to use anything he had to hand. It's hard to know what's front and where's the reverse side now. Okay, I think the redemption ticket proves it, but... Okay, we're just going to... What's on the photograph side of that redemption ticket? Oh, I'll show you. It's not really been a plot detail, but here's Q. So, on this ticket, we have... Kitty. Yep, and on this one, we have... Offset Kitty. Because basically it came from a stereoscope. Oh yeah, I was going to present it.
Objection!
There's clearly something odd about that last statement made by the witness. Okay. Never mind, that's not it. Maybe it's the music disc.
Objection!
Yep, it's the music disc. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why? Is it supposed to mean something? This disc was until the day of the murder. In pawn in Mr. Winterbank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try and take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? Oh yeah, they could also check his phone to see if there's a scratch. As I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life. It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on that disc. Oh yeah, oh yes, resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps. Yeah, or maybe he's got mended gloves. That's right, the surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of this smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch. Good gracious, indeed it must. Mr. Graydon. You refused to allow the court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc. Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you. What? What is the meaning of this? So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant. Order! Order! Well, Mr. Graydon? Max Sting. It was from a cheese grater, you jackass. Okay. It would appear there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item you own out of pawn? What? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now. As you wish, though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder. Max Sting. So you admit you're going to grate cheese with the music disc? Yes, what? There's a note on the disc saying, former gilded, but the item belongs to me.
The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy Gusling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I have absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, as you say, the famous London philanthropist, who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder? Yes, my lord, the one and the same. Good lord, Mr. Graydon, are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted? Yes, that's correct. Order? Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered in here in my courtroom again. According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Winterbanks. It's funny Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it? In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Winterbanks in order to get his hand on McGilded's disc for some reason. Counsel, you'll commence your cross-examination, please. Hold it! Would you care to explain how this belongs to you? As you will observe, a communication officer such as myself commands a fine salary. You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir. So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse while on an errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question. You claim that was your overcoat? Obviously, and in my haste, I clean forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet, there is a note on it that reads, "For McGilded." I'm a collector of rare and unusual music box music. I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city, and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area. So, the disc in question is a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly. Max saying it's entertaining to watch Van Zykes grilling him as well. Like, wow, you're a piece of work. Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she? No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury. Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it? Let's leave it alone for the time being. Hold it! So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag? That's right. Despite being mindful of danger when walking in the insalubrious areas her kind frequent, Miss Lestrade did no such thing. Well, of course you would take that stance, but the girl is a regular offender. You came to the pawnbrokery that day prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You're looking for her. That's what brought you to Winterbanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGilded's disc. Objection! My learned friend, it is a veritable font of nonsense. Nonsense? I concur with the prosecution. Counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing in this way, is that clear? Yes, my lord. Then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be. Exactly, Max Sting. Now hold up, I call myself as a witness. Hold it! Had you ever been to Winterbanks before? Only once, for the purposes of pawning something. But like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So, when you noticed the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased her. Is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course, such is the art of the pick purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbroker at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place. He can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this.
Hold it!
Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. This was the very man. Apparently the police are collecting anything that has connection to Mr. McGilded as evidence.
Graydon has something. Gregson has something to say here. Is something wrong, Inspector?
What do you mean?
The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way.
Hey, no it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone.
Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilded's possessions?
I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine. What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets? Yeah, exactly. You should know all about that. Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life. Yet, he had a dark side too.
Max Sting, can't you call your short gun-toting friend as a witness who famously gets buttloads of information from actual witnesses who personally attest to A, Gregson lying about his name, B, Graydon having lots of information about Gina to follow him and identify her, Graydon not fitting the coat well at all, etc. Yeah, it's kind of weird we can't just bring up the entire investigation from earlier that day. Max Sting is indirect, but Sholmes isn't a known liar. It's true. Problem is, Sholmes is currently unconscious. Allegedly. Like, a cutscene showed he wasn't, but apparently he's officially unconscious.
Right, where are you going with this, Van Zykes? I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they?
Right, that's enough. Coppers like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know. Max Sting did the gun to not grill Sholmes for the details before the shooting. I can't recall, actually. I think Iris was actually there herself, but I'm not sure.
Duty is conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector.
The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're going to need Lord Strongheart's paw print first. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zykes here. Max Sting, you don't remember Iris being there at the time, but she follows his adventures for Fine-Tooth Comb. True. Although it's entirely possible he didn't consider it enough of an adventure to tell her.
Well, it would appear the Inspector has revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord.
Hold it!
But perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items.
No, not at all.
Oh.
A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brac.
In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilded's disc. Have you not been listening, man? Even if I wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop that night than I. As I keep saying, I had no reason to break in. Max Sting, possible, which would explain why she can't offer direct testimony about Sholmes' charmingly disastrous conference about Graydon at the time. You love when Sholmes laughed at himself about how maybe confiding in him is a hazard. A surprising moment of three-dimensionality of character. Yeah, he is actually quite an interesting character. Like, he's wrong enough to sort of enable actual gameplay by not just solving the mystery himself. But on the other hand, he is clearly quite intelligent. Sorry about the way, I seem to be a bit stuttery. So there was nothing of Miguelda's left in the shop that night. Nothing this man must have been after. I wonder if that's really true. Reno, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble. Nurlis, you found it, by the way. What did you find? The mashup you mentioned. Max Sting, still nearly right detective, is potentially two-dimensional. Self-awareness is a whole extra dimension. Yeah, he does have that sort of running gag of just laughing at himself, which is kind of neat. Miguel did slip the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited at Winterbanks. Then, when he realised he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket. There's no doubt about it. That Winters is lying for his pearly white teeth. Oh, Nurlis, it took you long enough to count as a brick joke, practically, but you found it. Exactly, Max Sting. We love brick jokes. The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGildas as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day. But Gregsy's been very strange about all this. There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. Okay. Can't prove anything about that. Right, there is another pawn ticket. There is another pawn ticket for another item deposited at the same time. So, let's try that.
Objection.
Yep, that seems to be the ticket. This disc was deposited at Winterbanks on Magnus McGilda's instructions. You knew that. You went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again. And in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbroker again that night.
Objection!
Okay, Max Sting linking the one that's We Will Rock You Like a Fish. I'm improvising. I don't remember the title. A Neil C song. He stole his catchphrase. Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. What? Mr. McGilded had another article to pawn at Winterbanks, as this, the second pawnbroker's ticket proves. Yep. Go Rhinoske. It turns out that the inventory has been amended. Ugh. There were two articles belonging to Mr. McGilded in the Winterbanks pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one, together with your two accomplices, the Skulkin brothers. This is the second ticket, is it? What had the man deposited? The article description reads, one small box. A rather vague description, it seems to me. Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbroker with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box?
I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect he did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. That's a good point. Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that, for some reason, this Graydon fella needed the small box that very night, does it? Sorry, this Graydon fella needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
Max Sting, that's a well-phrased statement. There's grounds. I mean, he is a lawyer.
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
I love how everything Van Zyke says is, like something an evil henchman might say.
Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Sykes? I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Winterbank's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. What? Good gracious.
Yep, the door was locked. And of course, the intruder was scared off by a gunfight.
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please. Yes, sir? What prints? These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Hurley's red-handed recorders again.
As previously explained, using this plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Winterbank received his customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves on which the articles were placed for sale once forfeited. According to the information on this ticket, Mr. McGilder's small box had been forfeited already, 2 days before the incident, at 9 PM on the 13th of April, to be precise, which means it would have been on the shelves of the forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's 11 PM on the 15th of April.
11 PM.
The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear. And then here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident. I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare.
Yeah, Max Sting. In theory, at least, there should be photographs of him because, you know, the whole scene took place over quite a while. And yeah, in a sort of like one of the big things in, Ace Attorney does that wouldn't hold up in a court of law is that evidence isn't being booked in ahead of time. No less opening YouTube and Discord on top of Twitch went as well as what could be expected, but you're back and uncrashed. What did you miss? Apparently the prosecution can prove that the small box has in fact not been removed.
Although I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold. Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache. Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we consider theft as one possible motive in this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. So, your men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir. We counted every single item in each of these 2 photographic prints.
Yeah, Max Sting. Like I suspected, we're gonna put the prints in a stereoscope since it established those 2 parallel cameras. Notice a small box. Is it that magic one that opens different depending on where it is? Could be.
And the R's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question, and my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy.
I don't believe it.
If I could just shown that he'd stolen McGilded's pawn box. I might have been able to break him down at last. Wait, I might have been able to break him down at last. Maxting, I assure you it's real life and not fantasy. You know what, Rene? I've been thinking. I wonder if these two photographs really are exactly the same. What? So, counsel, in the light of evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion? I don't know. Okay. There is no discrepancy, point out a discrepancy, or use a piece of evidence. Do we have something that proves otherwise? Oh. Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something if I may. Try something? What do you mean, counsel? I'll need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy. I'm not entirely sure I follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you identify a discrepancy between the two prints? Let's go.
Take that!
I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view the two prints stereoscopically. Yes, you've caught the bug at last. You can't resist, can you? Maxting, you love it when the text is green. Yeah, it makes it feel so interactive. You've got the cross-eyed compulsion. Juror number 3, what a surprise. Come on, Rene. Let's put the pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us. There we go. Now, look through the eyepiece. Ding, ding, ding. I wasn't sure at first, but there's a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What? Maxting, more accurately, you love how the text clarifies the meaning and importance of the text as part of the interface, or something you can't phrase it. Yeah, it's just good interface design, really. You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy of which you speak. I suspect this is this has been added to the non-3DS version. Maxting, it's green, therefore it means you interact with it this way. It's like hyperlinks.
Take that!
Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them. What? When you view the two pictures stereoscopically. A single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box. That's me. Wait. Unbelievable. It'd be funny if the inspector just ends up having to tell it all, Maxting. Yep. I like how the judge can just go cross-eyed on demand. By Jove, you're right. How extraordinary. Nihilus, right here, this funny chap with the cane and the red and white cap. What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilded's small box was indeed not stolen from Winterbanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves. Are you suggesting that the small box originally deposited by Mr. McGilded is in fact... Yes, the very same small box I just identified in these photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen, which means quite simply that nothing has changed. That may be true, but... Alright, McGilda's box wasn't stolen then, but doesn't the fact it was moved like that change things? It changes everything, because something could have been removed from the box. I believe. Also, you know, even if it wasn't what they were after, it proves that something was, you know, interfered with, so there was a motive for being present. I believe this changes everything about the case. How can that possibly be? The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Winterbanks as we speak.
Objection!
That would be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant to this trial. The court does not hold your objection, Lord Van Zykes. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination.
Max Sting, you're also wondering if all of Van Zyk's prior prosecution before this game were all unjust. Well, you never know. His reputation is the Reaper of the Bailey. To be honest, I think he just needs like a full 8 hours of sleep a night, for once.
We should all have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth. To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing. I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zykes.
No, it's hard to say. Apparently Ranos K is the first defence lawyer to try fighting back in ages. To be fair, he had been out of the game for several years.
This is nothing but a smokescreen. A Nipponese speciality, it would seem.
What are you trying to say? Max Stinky drinks so much wine that you think if he quit the DTs would literally kill him. It's possible. Like, he has a problem.
My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles are value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property.
Detox, I'd assume, no less, is what DT stands for. I believe alcohol and some barbiturates. Oh, delirium and tremens. Yeah, alcohol's one of the few drugs that will kill you if you go cold turkey on it, apparently.
If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGilded perished 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was the upstanding member of society, his reputation implied, in fact.
Max Sting, side effects. Alcohol can quite literally kill you if you quit cold turkey and were too far in. Oh yeah, like I said.
So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defence. The articles in this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat just happened to have a music box disc in one of his pockets, and a small box.
I assure you, I wouldn't accept, even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me. You know, that does make a lot of sense. It's not if it was gold or jewels, is it?
Oh, goodness knows, Mr. McGilded was rich enough.
But you can't
deposit cash at a pawnbrokery, perhaps. The prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling.
Mac's sting is kind of intense, hallucinations, shakes, just a bad time all around. Yeah, I suppose it's kind of like how the only way to sort of end a hangover is the hair of, apart from waiting it out, is the hair of the dog that bit you. That is to say, a small dose of alcohol.
It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument. To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizen could have. Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are in any tangible way related to this case?
Well, Mac's sting, a lot of hangover is dehydration, so you can do a lot for that. You can get hangover symptoms just from getting dried out. Oh yeah, that's true as well. Although a lot of them are also from well, basically the intermittent products as your body breaks down alcohol. Was that the first glass and bottle today? I believe it was. What's the matter, Renee? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence.
Yeah, of course. You and I both know that. We know that McGild is true character. And we know that this is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explained all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilda's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake, that the defense's argument was flawed, based on false information.
Oh no.
And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury.
But Ginny...
Could it be that Van Zykes knows? Is that why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything?
But maybe... this could be a great opportunity for us.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Mac's sting, you once cured a hangover with the hair of the dog that never got near you. You were too dried out and sick one morning, knowing it was from dehydration. And you needed to function, but didn't have to drive, so you just got out of the gin. Wild. This implies that alcohol can hydrate you quite quickly. A little nip of gin got you over the hangover symptoms long enough to chug enough water. I mean, personally, I'd have just drank the water. Then again, maybe it was really bad dehydration. Well, what is it you always say, Reno? Okay, it was really bad, fair enough. Sooner or later, the truth comes out, every time.
Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGill did deposited with Mr. Winterbank is something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chances of winning this case.
Not lethal bad, but you need to be functional within the hour, not within half the day. Fair enough. Okay, I think we have to have Gina testify, otherwise it'll just be game over.
My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal. Oh, what proposal, counsel?
While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilda's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand.
The defendant? To what end?
Yes, 2 of the various articles deposited at Winterbanks by Mr. McGilda, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Yeah, to be fair, a lot of things that can treat the symptoms of something will actually make it worse.
Well, well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implication of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused standing, and indeed your own.
I have.
Lord Van Zykes, would you care to explain that last remark?
We are engaged in a game of 3D chess, Your Honor. Stop interrupting.
The prosecution accepts the defence's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself. Very well, if you have no objection. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice. Then I shall bid you a good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. Maxine Van Zig is going to love this because it will prove her perjury. Then we'll be less pleased because we're the protagonist. Exactly, it'll all work out in the end, possibly. Yeah, the stand's getting a bit crowded. Any more stands being taken and this will be Jojo. As you wish. Alright then, Gina, it's time. I know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here. Good luck, Rene. Maxine, that explains the stylish looks and dancing. Exactly. Okay, so the question is, has she still got her grenade launcher? The articles that Mr. McGilder had deposited in Winterbank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago. Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in that trial as well. That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilder. The omnibus case was intriguing to say the least. And now here we all are again. The same players in that trial facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend. Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Sorry for scratching my ear, but it's really itchy. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilder. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder, but as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged, that the murder in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Maxting, are you approaching? I'm a total prole, I don't begrudge a break in decorum. Then immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilder died in this very courtroom, in the most extraordinary of circumstances. Notice, I can't ruin your career from the lobby. A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on, as indeed does the omnibus murder itself. Be that as it may, I recall neither the disc nor this small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings. Miss Lestrade, would you tell the court now, please, what really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I already said all of what I know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade, this is extremely important. But... Remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. Yeah. Maxting, you done gave up. My dogged pursuit of the absurd truth befits an Ace Attorney fan. Alright. Maxting. Talking to Nolis in the chat. Maxting, Nolisman found the right reply. You weren't coming up with that yourself. Bravo, bravo, bravo. And naturally, you'll lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts, you have little credibility to lose.
Ginny, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Reno now. Oris? We're on your side. Alright then. I'll talk.
It's the right choice, Gina. Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it. I must confess, I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilda's pawned articles and that extraordinary case of the omnibus harbour secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you'll now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago.
Max Sting, you've got to admit there's something charming about the willingness to immolate oneself in the name of truth. No less, pawned article. Yep, chat being chat there.
This is it then. The apocalypse. Everything's going to come out, like Van Zyke said. This could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk.
Here we go. The real truth of the omnibus case. Truth is, that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw the disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard the scream from over my head. And that pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's when McGilda slipped the driver some tin to do and run to the pawn store roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I'd seen or heard. Okay, I have no idea what's going on in chat anymore. You're basically speaking code.
Good grief, this is outrageous. What you've just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago.
As you say, my lord.
Then, there's every chance I may have adjudicated an error in McGilda's trial. It sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court in an effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes.
Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in the trial, of this witness, and of my learned friend, are entirely inexcusable.
I don't believe it. The whole trial was a farce, all lies. That McGilda fellow was rotten to the core, just like the pickpocket. Don't forget the lawyer from the east. They were all in on it together.
You're wrong, the look of you. Mr. Nariodo, the lawyer there, didn't know nothing about it.
Humbug.
I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that?
At least it's everyone up, didn't he? One operation to get the man off scot-free.
Unforgivable, stop. The lies have to stop. Stop.
Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it is imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony, because the true significance of McGilda's pawned articles must be brought to light.
Very well, my learned student friend. He's been demoted. Given the depths of calamity you've just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing.
Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, my lord.
I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial.
Of course, my lord. Blimey, Mr. Naruhodo.
Now, counsel, proceed with cross-examination.
And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats. Yeah, that's right. it's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all.
Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain you claimed that Mr. McGilded was the sole passenger, did you not? False testimony, my lord.
That's what you told me I had to say.
But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilded and the victim acquaintances?
I don't know. But I did hear them talking a lot.
What were they talking about?
Well, I couldn't hear too well, but if I had to say, I think it was about money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying.
Perhaps business dealings of some kind?
Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. It started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I hardly dared breathe. And then, all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone keeling over on the floor. It was blooming loud and all.
And I believe you let out an involuntary scream?
Yeah. That's what gave me away. Yeah, that's practical effects are a type of special effect. Specifically, usually it refers to not using CGI or modifying the film.
Hold it!
What's the disc you saw? This disc?
Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the cove line on the floor.
Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps?
I don't know, but McGill picked it up pretty smartish. And then he sat in the cove with the knife in his belly up. And then he sat in the cove with the knife in his belly up on the seat.
What did he say to you at that time?
He told me not to say a word about what I'd seen or heard to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. The way he was looking at me, I thought, if I didn't go along with it, I'd get struck with that knife too. Then he started asking me a load of questions, like what my name was and where I lived and that. He asked me about being a diver too.
But after a while, what had happened in the carriage was noticed.
Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise. Oh yeah. No, listen, if Gina's hat had a voice, would it be a squeaky voice, or Kermit, or deep? He doesn't love a good, mystery character whose hat talks to them.
Hold it!
There were 2 gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe. That's right. They must have looked down through the skylight and noticed the cove of the knife in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up at the horses and McGill had got me out of sight.
Out of sight? Where?
I kind of imagine it having like a really deep, sneering voice. Like it's all snarky about all her rogue things. Back under the seat where it started off. Once the carriage came to an halt, the 2 coves on the roof ran off to fetch the slops.
If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear that they were entirely unrelated to the incident.
So that left McGilded, the driver, and you still at the scene. Yep, only the driver didn't know that I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from outside.
The driver? Yes, he also testified in the trial, I believe. A fellow who went by the name of Beppo, if memory serves.
What did McGilded and the driver say to each other? I know what happened, stuff like that mainly. That's when McGilded slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. Nullis, like Ragnarok maybe. Yeah, like Crota from Soul Eater Situation.
Hold it!
That pawn shop obviously being Winterbanks on Baker Street.
Just a moment, counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in that trial as well?
Perhaps the excursion
The pawnbroker slipped his mind when he was in the stand. Indeed, Lord Van Zykes.
McGillen took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up, all careful like, before handing it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it, it's got to be worth a few bob.
Yeah, Gina was sure the disc must be worth more than Mr. Winterbank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon in the pawnbrokery.
Max think funny the thoughts about practical effects got you thinking about the Muppets because the importance of camera angles in omitting the Muppeteers, which is much like the camera angles necessary to avoid showing what makes a practical effect work. A famous example being the blood from that final sword fight in Chanjuro by Kurosawa, which was the result of a mechanical failure off camera practical effect, equipment resulting in a highly influential suspension moment that was amazing. Oh yeah, there was the delay on the sort of blood spray, which is where that dramatic pause comes from nowadays. Oh, but you're going to vote for the Kermit voice. You know, also valid. The driver looked pretty happy when McGill had flashed some brass in his face. He went off running off at a lick. Then the box trotter called to me and told me to come out from the drag's cabin.
Hold it!
Threatened you how exactly? Told me I'd only be able to scarf her if I did exactly what he said.
Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago.
Max Sting, everyone does the suspension beat for the blood spray now, but it was an accident at the time. But Kurosawa knew his effects guy had struck gold. Yeah, that happened. Like the other day, the other week now, I was seeing Nick doing an intro for one of his tabletop RPG streams, and he just coincidentally stumbled upon a really cool effect. Yeah, that's it. And there was one other thing he said.
Which was?
He told me I'd have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it.
The ticket? Well, I never.
Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I'd have to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in lug, stop it being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it.
But really? Why on earth would Mr. McGildet have done such a thing? Tossing his overcoat with a pawnbroker before the arrival of the police? It makes no sense at all.
There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. Nullis, you don't not like the idea of a magic hat that's evil. You can't settle on what voice you imagine it having. Yeah, that was actually a plot point in Ikenfell. A particular character had been turned evil by a hat. Hey Lenny, how's it going? Brioche, you need me to cosplay as the devil and scare your friends off, they're bullying you. Well, I don't want to cosplay as the actual devil. Tieflings aren't devils, you know. How's it going anyway? Max Dean, you haven't seen a lot of female Satan cosplays. To be fair, I think, was it the remake of Bedazzled or Bedeviled? You're doing good, bullying aside, am I? Yep, pretty good. Obviously it's a short Ace Attorney stream today, but I don't know if you saw on Monday, but I've got a new airbrush which I use for doing my body paint, which works really well. Working on the ears right now. And some other stuff, I guess.
What Miguel just had the driver deposit at Winterbanks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs.
Anyway, after that he let me go, so I legged it before the coppers showed up.
Well done, Gina. It can't have been easy to tell the truth like that.
Gina's really put her faith in you, Reno.
Yeah, and to thank her, she'll have to face a charge of perjury once this trial's over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible.
It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement.
I suppose I should.
Oh, and another thing.
What's that?
Take a look at those two. Isn't it strange they've been whispering to each other the entire time?
Yeah, that is strange. It looks like they're having a secret discussion about something. I'm not sure I'm completely comfortable with that. I wonder if there's anything I can do about it. Notice you can't get the Montero video out of your head. Oh, the one where Little Nas X is giving the devil a lap dance. Oh yeah, that was a great moment. Like, obviously he'd sort of semi-established his name as a country singer, and then he just creates the absolute most beautifully queer music video. Okay. Max Dane, no one's been talking about Lil Nas X in a bit. Yeah, but I think he's done some other songs in the interim. A lot of them are pretty good. Okay. So what do I need to do here? Okay. Okay. I guess, this is it, isn't it? It's all related to this, what's going on in the paper. Because the guy's a communications officer. Okay, I was kind of hoping there was another clue in there, but... Okay. Just reading through this again, because there was a clue. Is there anything I can do about them having a secret discussion?
Hold it!
Oh, okay. I can... Oop, didn't mean to do that. Oh yeah, I can do that, can't I? Is there something you'd like to share of this court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Graydon? Inspector, Mr. Graydon. Oh, okay, I just need to suppress them. Blimey, you're trying to give me a heart attack? Yeah, I've been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about? A discussion with this fella? Pull the other one, sunshine. You think I've got anything to talk about with a shady gent like this? And I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. But they've clearly been talking the entire time and been cross-examining Gina. It's as if they've been negotiating. Negotiating, eh? Ellipses nuts. Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, Counsel. I've heard enough. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus. It would appear on that night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. A negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly.
Nillis, they're sorting out who's getting the groceries tomorrow.
A negotiation concerning this disc, however. Oh, wait, already read that? When the parties involved began to quarrel over the price, McGilded took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way, although I don't understand why as yet. And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGilded's coat and its contents were due to be forfeited.
Max Sting, something awesome on the internet that's not by Neil C. Neil C does make a lot of awesome stuff. I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the cove died right after his trial. I knew that.
So you decided you would try to claim the articles as your own?
Well, why not, eh? They were only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have gone? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking it ain't no crime.
Miss Lestrade, it would appear Mr. McGilded was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be?
Hey, I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He was probably going to sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking ain't no crime.
Hmm? My lord. Oh wait, my lord. The evidence your lordship requested has been located and is ready for this court's inspection, sir.
Okay, here we go. What plot twist awaits?
The mysterious little box deposited by McGilded 2 months ago.
And there's no doubt in my mind that there's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. To be continued. Yep, I can carry on for a bit more. Besides, I want to know what's going on here. Notice you found that particular mashup and the ones by that Neil guy through Clone Hero. A YouTuber called Jason Paradise, fun guy. Clone Hero being a fan game based on Guitar Hero that people can upload custom tracks to. Oh yeah, kind of like how you can do custom songs for Rift of the Necrodancer. Come on, tell us what's in the box.
So, this is the article in question, is it? The small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilded 2 months ago. And on the night of Mr. Winterbank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop.
Quick, quick, let's open it and see what's inside. It's a music box.
Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems.
Wow, although in truth, I had an inkling that it might be the case.
It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement. Then, this is too much. Is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device to play this for the playback of this disc, my lord.
Max Sting, inkling is also the sound it makes when it plays.
So here we have the means to play back Mr. McGilded's disc deposited at Winterbanks at much the same time. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilded's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus. But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGilded? I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord. Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last. Oh, wait, my lord. Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and the disc are, they're unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
Objection.
This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. The prosecution has no objection. But no, that piece of evidence is police property and... Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here. But it is policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. Ugh. No further delays, please. Play the disc. The judge is all of us right now. Max Sting, 1 bottle, 1 glass, 1 chips. It's a demonic ritual to summon the Blue Badger. Max Sting, that's the worst effing music box disc. What on earth? Is that Morse code? That's certainly what I'd call music. Okay, juror number 5, give us the lowdown. No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. Mr. Graydon? This really is priceless. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom. Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept this music box offers little in the way of clues. Are you ready to move on, counsel? Come on. Yes, alright, it does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? It could be, yeah, it's clearly Morse code. I believe that it could be relevant, my lord. Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel. Make noise. I fail to see how it could have any meaning whatsoever. Typical old man. Hates any music he doesn't understand. It does sound strange, I agree, but there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognises the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. If that's the stance of the defence, my Nipponese friend, answer me this. Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case? It's the defence's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music. Just because this is a music box doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. No, let's to be fair to this game, this is a kid's game. When you played Pokemon Ruby, you didn't recognise the Braille when you saw it. I mean, I did, but that's because they literally printed Braille in the instruction manual. And I read those. Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it.
Maxing your cryptography buff when you were in grade school. Yeah, I used to love decoding basic ciphers when I was in school. And one day when I was in, I think it must have been either geography or PSHE, the teacher basically gave us that as an assignment, and I literally managed to do it. And he was like, hey, seen a bit nervous. I'm on the right lines here, I must be. Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Hurley, Reno.
Objection!
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us exactly what they are not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nepalese friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-informed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. Max Day, milk and lemon juice are basically invisible inks. You didn't have any friends who are into any of that? It's true. I thought everyone sort of knew about, you know, if you wrote something in lemon juice, then you could heat it and it would appear. But apparently not. Oh, and of course, you know, if you brush like powdered pencil lead on a piece of paper just below, that was below one that was written on. Now it's mostly just one of your old hyperfoci. Fair enough. They've got me. I don't know what the answer is yet. Reno? I've just examined the music box very thoroughly, and I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all. Oh wait, yeah, it's in evidence, isn't it? Oh wait, no, it's not in evidence. My bad. Really? Really, the way it's been made it can only produce a single note anyway. Thank you, Iris. Yeah, the other comms workers on the jury because she was the one who recognised him. Well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Can I just talk to her? I mean, I should be able to, but it's not letting me. Ah. Could it be? Is that what those sounds are? Something's just struck me, Reno. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one in this music box. The one this music box makes. Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, counsel? All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to a single answer now. The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds in this music box is... Okay, is it the paper? Nillis, by instruction booklet, do I mean the strategy guide books? Nope, the actual booklet that came with the game. Like, by that point they were basically just large pamphlets, but they still came with booklets.
And the one that came with Ruby and Sapphire literally had brown on the back. Okay, I think it's the paper. Notice neither one has a random Braille cipher on any page or the back. I mean, it could have been the UK version. Or the PAL region version in general.
Take that!
Today's paper, Council? The headline is, Pawnbroker perishes in pig-purse plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause. No, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page. Further down? Ministry mole? Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter, being investigated at the highest level, I understand. I have heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams. Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please.
Stop. Oh, me, sir. Whatever is the matter?
You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not?
Yes, that is correct.
And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports.
Oh yes, we're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important.
Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound?
You don't mean to say, is it?
That's right, madame. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it.
Well, all I can say is, Nolis, I distinctly remember it. And it's not like I could have deciphered them on my own, because I didn't know Braille. And I wouldn't have known it was Braille to look it up on the internet. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code.
But I don't believe it. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from the government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contained stolen government secrets in Morse code?
Plot twist.
Order! Order! Please everyone, order! But this is... It is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment. Too much vocabulary. What is treason, and what is capital punishment?
The sorts of words I'd half expect you to know.
For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price.
Max saying whether it's a different manual or memory not quite being correct or something. There's probably something that explains the different gameplay experience. True.
Yeah, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, Mr. McGilded perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawnbrokery. My word. In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc would be to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason, punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. In order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilded would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands.
Nolis, A chart to decode the Braille was included in an insert with Japanese and Australian copies, and in the instruction booklet of the European copies of Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red and Leaf Green. The instruction booklet included with North American copies did not include the Braille chart, instead including a trainer tip recommending players contact Nintendo for help with Braille. Hey, America gets screwed over by capitalism again. I like how we're literally playing Ace Attorney in the chat as well. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. So in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. Delighted, I'm sure. The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Winterbank. That being a most flagitious offence for which the law of this land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. Max Ding, Van Zykes being on your side is always hilarious because he's not wholly lacking in integrity and he's not wholly disinterested in the truth. Yeah, it's kind of neat because we're not really sure what his actual game is. Like, does he want to just help us uncover the sort of spy ring, or does he just really just hate our guts? Yeah, I suppose it makes sense if he's just really focused on everything. Notice you had to decode it the hard way because your dumb ass didn't go outside and didn't know it was Braille. Oof. To be fair, that's the kind of thing I'd have found fun at that age, so maybe it's kind of a shame our situations weren't reversed there. So then, let us proceed. You may... Bear? You'll have to have a rabbit and pork here, Governor. We got things to say. I beg your pardon? Who do you think you are? Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is professional baddie. I too am a professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin, but we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulkin Brothers. Bad timing, bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. Yeah, his poor chips. Okay, Graydon's counter. That'd be a great title for an Oscar Wilde novel. Notice where in the back book, big, mostly empty page saying, blah blah blah, world of Pokémon is mysterious. By the way, if you find a weird code at Braille, call Nintendo. 3/4 of that page is blank, they had room. Like I said, capitalism. They wanted you to call their hotline, I guess. Was that a thing in the 90s, 2010s? Max Ding, they wanted you to pay the 900 number, the toll number. Ah. Which I suspect they wouldn't have been able to get away with in Europe. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, was it not? I've no relation to the man. Look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night like what he told us to.
If we known there were dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it. Interesting. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin? Well, Mr. will do, Governor. What's up? I do take it you now admit to the crime. That's on the night in question. You did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally. Well, a toll number in the UK would be an 0800 number. I don't know what a 900 number is. Actually, I think I've heard it more recently. Oh yeah, 900 is a US thing. And moreover, you did so as a party of three in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here. We did, Guff, we did. It was us that done it. It's a fair cop. Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to. You little riot, getting us all mixed up in this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight-up job. And what about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? Poor bloke didn't even have to die, did he? Ugh. Nice to know who your friends are. Whatever those men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it into the court record as evidence. The small music box has been entered into the court record. This strange music box only appears to be able to play a single tone. It was deposited at Winterbanks 2 days before the Black Overcoat. Max Ding, Nintendo must not use 900 numbers anymore, not since the 90s. Maybe they were just trying to sort of turn it into a ARG type of deal.
Hold it!
So is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted? How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be interested with sensitive information. Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop. Let me guess. Jury number 5. We regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing telegraphs used by the ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader. That's fascinating. Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idle. Stop. So you've had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon? Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent enciphered. Normal employees can possibly understand them. Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring there are no errors in important international communications, and he's received the top prize at the cipher cracking convention 5 years in a row now. That's fascinating. Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idle. Stop. Well, your idol would appreciate it if you kept your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded.
Hold it!
They're not. To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent on listening to that music box for even a few seconds. Of course, of course. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch, he looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance.
I'd be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir.
A lesson here in court?
Morse code is a continuous series of 2 distinct tones.
Tones, you say?
Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters.
I see.
Oh wait, there was a second music disc, wasn't there? For example, this is A, and this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you?
But it sounds too similar. The rhythm is the same and everything. But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code.
No.
Really, you shouldn't be so surprised.
What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in future.
Stop. Nothing to say but stop.
Wait. Let's have a closer look at this.
See how the former gilded disc sits in the music box the man deposited at Winterbanks? It couldn't be a more perfect fit.
There's no question then. The disc was designed to be played in this music box.
Yet despite that, the sounds it produces are neither musical nor do they appear to have any meaning. It just doesn't make any sense.
I wonder if perhaps there's more to this music box than meets the eye. Maybe we haven't discovered all its secrets yet.
This is the mechanism that turns the bumps on the disc into sound, isn't it?
Yes, the movement. It's all thanks to this comb with its teeth that are plucked by passing bumps.
Usually the teeth
on the comb are different lengths, so that each one produces a different tone. But this comb is very strange. All the teeth are exactly the same length.
Well, what does that mean?
It means that no matter which tooth is plucked by the passing bumps, the music box will make the same sound. I've never seen a music box but like it before.
Yeah, it is strange. A music box can only play a single note. There has to be some significance to that, surely.
What's this? What is it, Reno?
I've just noticed something about this music box.
No, maybe the disc has Braille on it. Someone get the effing Nintendo hotline on the stand. I mean,
it looks like the bottom of it opens up as well.
Oh, you're right. Well, come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
Right then, here it goes.
Look at that. There's another movement on the underside.
So, does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side?
Yes, I think so. And it looks like the two movements are linked together.
They're linked.
So if you had two discs, they would both play back at the same time.
Who'd have thought that there'd be a second movement on the underside of the box?
And this movement is like the other one. The comb's teeth are all the same length.
So the movement also only produces a single tone, like the other one?
Okay, and this movement produces a different sound. Yep, it must do. Except the length of the teeth on the two combs isn't the same. So the single tone produced by this movement will be different to the single tone we've already heard.
What?
Basically, each movement can only produce a single note.
But the notes they produce are different. A music box can only play two tones.
Is that going to be added?
I guess not. Stop. Nothing to say, but stop.
Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it?
Iris?
I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely.
Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play back Morse code? Give it a try. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least.
Objection.
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? I agree, Max Sting, and Nolus. Like, even if it wasn't making the money, it's ridiculous. It's already been established that to be Morse code, 2 tones are required, dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You had best present your idea at once, Counsel. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to decipher messages, secret messages in Morse code? Okay, let's go. Where's it, Reno? Okay, we've already seen this conversation. No less. Nintendo pre-inventing, keep talking, nobody explodes. Okay, we just need to present this then. No, let's keep talking and somebody catches Reggie Ice.
Got it!
Good gracious, what am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box? What? It appears, my lord, that the 2 movements are linked together. In other words, you can put 2 discs in this music box, and the sounds will both play back at the same time. Good heavens! As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of 2 tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box can be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry. This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though, of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with a second disc, that would be another matter. Well, I can't at the moment. And may I remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with the gilded tunic months ago, striking a deal over the disc or discs. Indeed, that was Mr. Mason, the big brickmaker. Exactly, I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue. The link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus case must be there somewhere. We haven't found it yet. Oh dear, looks like you need to give your argument more strength, Reno. You'll reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon. If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. Okay, we need to prove that he has some connection to McGill, to the brickmaker. Well, I think I need to finish up here anyway. Because it's 8:30 and I need to make sure I get to bed by 9. So.
Max Sting, and the inspector says, "Let the chips fall as they may." Hey. So yeah, we'll just find someone to raid. Tomorrow at 7:30. For reference, it's 8:30. I'll be streaming some more. Twitch telling me it's updated its TOS. Yep, I'll be streaming some. Well, I might be co-streaming with Nick. I might not be, depends on how he's feeling. But I'll be streaming some Blades in the Dark, which I'll be running. The crew are going to investigate some insurance salesmen who are very upset with the gang. Max Ding, you've got to take off, or you join in the raid. Adios. Sorry if you're frustrating. Sorry if you're frustrating to talk to you today. You got triggered by a webcomic going somewhere super painful. Sorry to hear that. Ooh, cosplay suggestion? Ginny Lestrade. Maybe? Who's live? If nothing else, I kind of want to make that hat. Okay, I think the only person I really know is the Bunyip Man, so we'll give him a raid. He's streaming Curse of the Golden Idol. Yep, ciao to you, Max Ding. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with I agree, Nellis, it's a cute hat. I'll be back tomorrow with running some Blades in the Dark. Friday I'll be on Nick's channel for the start of a 13th Age actual play, a follow-up to Guild of Icons, the 5th edition D&D actual play I was in, with all new characters. I can't even remember everyone who's playing that. Talia's in it, Iris is in it, Pixel's in it. Who else? Oh, anyways, yeah. Thanks everyone for dropping by. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow and Friday. And we're going to raid off in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the chat about any. Tell me in the comments about any tabletop RPG characters you rolled lately. Everyone loves to talk about those, and you're still my favourites. Winky face.